This training video provides steps and guidance for completing contractor performance evaluations. The purpose of the contractor performance evaluations is to provide a feedback loop to the contractor's pre-qualification rating. A positive performance is rewarded and likely to increase or sustain the contractor's eligibility rating. However, negative performance could reduce this amount. The contractor performance evaluation process was built out of a collaborative effort between the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet and the University of Kentucky Transportation Center. For further information, consult the reports noted on the screen. The Contractor Performance Evaluation Form and related resources, visit the Division of Construction website. You will find a link for the Contractor Performance Report, which is a website specific to the Contractor Performance Evaluation process. You may also visit the Contractor Performance Report website directly. There you will find links to the Contractor Performance Evaluation Form, an Instruction and Guidelines document, the Contractor's Appeal Form, a link to the Department of Highways Evaluation website, and this training video. Let's review these resources. Here's the Division of Construction website, where you can note the link to the Contractor Performance Report website. From this link, we find the resources previously mentioned. There's an area for resources, a link to the evaluation form, and a link to the Department of Highways Performance Report website. The resources link will be updated from the current screen once the new system goes live, and it should entail the following. First, the Instructions and Guidelines document. This document is a great complement to this training video and should provide all the information you will need in order to complete your contractor performance evaluations. Additionally, there are sections that provide guidance questions for completing the reports for both the year-end and project completion evaluation. The final section of the report entails frequently asked questions we received during reviews of the evaluation. Appeal form is part of the process that will be discussed later, but an example is seen here. Again, a link will be provided from this website. As for the Contractor Performance Evaluation Form, let's first look at the old form. The old form had 17 ratings with scores ranging from 0 to 5, as seen in the drop-down box here. The average score was considered to be a 4, and there was little guidance for selecting the scores, which led to subjectivity and inconsistencies. Additionally, there was a comments tab for scores outside the average range. The section engineer was required to provide comments. Once completed, the form was signed by the section engineer along with the chief district engineer. To note some of the significant changes under the new form, it is much more objective rating system as there are specific criteria for selecting a score. There are substantially fewer rating categories which were determined by a significance analysis of the old form. Where there were once 17 ratings for the system, now there are only 7 ratings for a project completion evaluation or 6 for the year-end or interim evaluations. Comments are not required for the individual ratings, though a comment area is provided for use as desired. Evaluations are not required for subcontractors performing less than $50,000 of work in the evaluation period, and the new rating is a 3, which is important to note, as scores may appear lower, but they will be reconciled by the Division of Construction Procurement. Additionally, the Chief District Engineer is not required to sign the form. Before we go over the new form, let's discuss a few questions. First, who is to be evaluated? Evaluations must be performed for every prime contractor and subcontractors performing more than $50,000 worth of work in the given evaluation period. However, the section engineer may choose to complete an evaluation for any subcontractor regardless of this threshold. Additionally, a subcontractor not meeting this threshold may request to have an evaluation completed. Under these criteria, there will be instances where a subcontractor does not warrant an interim evaluation but does require the project completion evaluation. The second question is, when are evaluations to be completed? These need to be completed once per calendar year for every project for each contractor, primes, and subs warranting evaluation. Under these guidelines, there are two types of evaluations. First, if the project is completed within one calendar year, the evaluation should be completed once all work, punch lists, and cleanup is complete and seating established. This type of evaluation also applies to multi-year projects within the calendar year they are completed. Do not wait until the calendar year end to complete the evaluation of if the previous criteria are complete on the project. Next, if a project spans multiple calendar years, complete an evaluation of those projects each year by December 31st. This may entail relatively close evaluations if a project is completed early in the next calendar year. Next, what should you consider prior to completing an evaluation? Two sets of questions have been developed to assist with this. One for interim or year-end evaluations, and one for project completion evaluations. These will be shown momentarily, but they can also be located in the Instructions and Guidelines document previously discussed. Use these lists as a checklist to prepare for the evaluation and attempt to consider primes and subs independently, though there will be some overlap since the prime contractor is ultimately responsible for the project. Here you see the project completion list with questions to consider, such as: was the section engineer's punch list completed prior to final inspection? Were there any material deficiencies? When was the project complete compared to the scheduled completion date or working days? Did traffic control meet standards? Were there any OSHA citations? And so on. The next list is the interim or year-end set of questions, which is a bit shorter, but some examples include: does the project progress appear to indicate the project is behind, on, or ahead of schedule? Were there any hazards noted by the section engineer? Were there any EPA fines? Were any 5-day letters issued? And so on. Upon considering and being able to answer these questions, you can complete the evaluation. Each time you prepare to complete a set of evaluations, download the most recent version of the Contractor Performance Evaluation Form, TC 14-19, from the Division of Construction website. This will ensure you have the most up-to-date contractor's information and save you time in correcting or inputting information manually. The first time you open the downloaded template, you may see a security warning. Clicking Enable Content simply allows the background macros to operate, initiating a more user-friendly interface. Once the interface is up and running, you can follow the on-screen guidance to complete the evaluation. Now let's see a demonstration of the new form. As previously mentioned, enabling content simply allows the more user-friendly interface to operate. The user interface is intended to make the process of completing the evaluation quick and easy. First, you select whether you would like to complete an interim or year-end evaluation versus a project completion evaluation. Both processes are similar, yet there are fewer ratings for the year-end evaluations and some of the criteria for score selection are different. As an example, we will only deal with a project completion evaluation. Next, you will enter the contractor and project information. The contractor name can be selected from the drop-down box, or if you begin typing it as it appears in Site Manager, the list should narrow for you to select the contractor you are looking for. If the contractor you are evaluating is not in the list, please contact the Division of Construction to let them know, and complete the form by manually entering the contractor's name here. You will also have to manually enter the contact information after the ratings have been entered in the final form. Continue with inputting the contractor ID as seen here, the county, and use the drop-down box to select if the evaluation is for a prime or subcontractor. Click Continue to advance. The next selection is whether you would like to use the form wizard or fill out the form manually. The form wizard is set up to provide step-by-step guidance and rating criteria. However, if the user is experienced with the criteria and evaluation system, they may choose to complete the form manually. There is still access to the criteria, but it is not as explicit. This type of entry will be demonstrated after we use the wizard. Continuing with the wizard brings up the ratings one by one and their associated criteria. This training will not go through all the ratings in detail, but we will start with A1. A1 is the overall quality of the work of the contractor. For this rating, we need to know the amount of work that is required for removal and replacement, and if punch list or corrective work were needed. As you can see, the rating of a 3 is in the normal expectation that work is acceptable and all corrective work and deficiencies were addressed in a timely manner. For this example, we will use the rating of a 3. This can be selected from the drop-down box or simply keyed in. Once input, you can move on to the next question or use the back button to review previous questions or content. Continue progressing through the rating questions as seen here. Again, you will want to use the criteria to select or guide your rating decision. There may be instances where the criteria do not directly match the project situation. In these cases, follow the criteria as closely as possible and allow them to guide your rating decision. Once all the applicable ratings have been entered, click Continue. Here, you can input your name, today's date, choose your district from the drop-down menu, and again, you may enter any comments as you desire. Comments are not required for this evaluation. Once you've input your information here, you may click the Complete button to view the final form. The information previously entered into the wizard should be viewable in the evaluation spreadsheet. Additionally, the contractor's contact information should have automatically been entered if it were selected from the drop-down list. If they were not found, you will need to enter this information in manually. If you previously chose not to use the wizard, you would have come to this form immediately. To enter or change the rating, simply click on the grayed out rating boxes, and you may choose from the drop-down or simply key in a different score. To review the selection criteria, a comment box is available for each rating as indicated by the red triangles in the corners of the rating descriptions. Hovering over these rating descriptions will allow you to review the criteria for the individual ratings. You may also amend or add to any comments you have. Once you have reviewed all the ratings, you can see the final score for the contractor and complete the final steps of the evaluation. To finalize the evaluation, first save the file with a name unique to the project, contractor, and evaluation type, year-end, or project completion. Next, the form should be set up to print the proper area on a standard-sized sheet. Print and sign the form appropriately. Then you need to contact your PD&P branch manager and have them sign the original evaluation form. Obtain a copy of the completed form, but leave the original form with the branch manager, who will submit the form to the Central Office Division of Construction Procurement, Pre-Qualification and Compliance Branch once the appeal window has expired. You can then send a copy of the signed evaluation with an appeal form to the contractor. Then submit copies of the signed form to the branch manager for project delivery and preservation, to the chief district engineer, and place a copy in your project file. Once the appeal window of 10 business days has elapsed without an appeal submitted, ensure the branch manager for project delivery and preservation submits the evaluation to the Division of Construction Procurement with attention to the pre-qualification and compliance branch. If the contractor disagrees with the evaluation, the contractor must submit the appeal form within 10 business days of receiving their evaluation. The appeal form is TC 14-20 and should be submitted to the Chief District Engineer. This concludes the training video on the new contractor evaluation process. If you have questions or comments concerning the new form or process, contact your Central Office Division of Construction Liaison for assistance.